What's going on, MBL Network? We are live here, twitch.tv/MBL Network. We're going to be taking a look at Neon Sports, our website, our webpage. We're going to pay a little homage to the Los Angeles Chargers. Show their, MBL Network. We're going to be taking a look at, I hope it don't sound like that. All right. And we're going to also be checking out their Super Bowl banner that just got released today. We're going to go over some trades from the offseason, along with we're going to have our man Quibble tell us what each team should be striving for as far as the wins go. The wins column. That's all we're concerned about. What wins makes it a winning season for this team? How many wins do they need in the regular season? We'll do that for each team, and we'll talk about some stuff in chat. Flair, if you can, tag everybody. Let everybody know we are live on Twitch. 8 viewers right now, so let's get rocking and rolling. Let's get right into it. Quibble, Los Angeles Chargers won the Super Bowl.
Sir.
Last time we talked, they hadn't won the Super Bowl. Thoughts on the Los Angeles Chargers winning the Super Bowl? Surprised at all? Anything that comes to mind? We talk so much about them being as good as they were, as dominating as they were, and they just continue to do it. Maybe not as dominating in the playoffs, but still playoff dominating, it felt like.
Yeah, I mean, like, this might as well just be the Los Angeles Chargers show. But yeah, they went undefeated.
Cut it.
20 wins. They got 20 wins. They did it with their backup quarterback. Herbert got injured versus the Ravens, I believe. And Max Duggan came in and was just dominating, honestly. He had some really, really good passes. The moment was a little bit too big for JJ McCarthy almost.
That just didn't sit
on
right
the other
with
side.
me. That didn't sit right with me. When I saw Max Duggan absolutely slinging it, it was better than the Thompson performance we saw with the Miami Dolphins, right? On building the franchise last season when Thompson came in at quarterback for Tua and absolutely was able to sling the ball. This was even at a different level. And I just like almost like, man, the Chargers, they really got some depth too on this team. I mean, they had Max Duggan out there looking like he should get the max contract at the quarterback position.
I wouldn't go that far. The offense definitely looked a little bit more simplified. I think that's what we're seeing when the starting quarterbacks go down. We saw it last year with Miami. We saw it with Washington. We saw it with New York, and then we saw it with the Chargers in the Super Bowl. Those offenses get simplified. They're taking the easier throws, and they're kind of relying on that run game a little bit. I think Keaton Mitchell had 25, 30 attempts, so Duggan didn't have to do it all.
Yeah, once it got to Mitchell, obviously, this is the guy that's going to push this team. He's volatile. I mean, he's vital. He's a vital part of the offense in the passing attack, which also makes him even more dangerous because this guy is a catch the ball a yard behind the line of scrimmage, could pick up whatever he needs to get into pay dirt anywhere on the field. He's a walking touchdown at any moment. So the fact that the timely use of Mitchell in the passing attack for the Chargers, that just really I just saw it take souls in the playoffs. Defenses just said, wow, we finally got Herbert to get under pressure and this, and he just checks it, or he finds his halfback in the flat after a block and release or something, and then boom, he picks up a first down or picks up first down a lot more. Let's go ahead and move on. Any trades this season pop out to you?
Oh, this is the trades of quarterbacks this offseason.
Let's dive into one.
So Washington got rid of their quarterback.
Let's
the Colts
start
got
with
rid of
that
their
one.
quarterback.
Yeah, we got Washington, Colts, and the Panthers got rid of quarterbacks. Yep. Am I missing
3
one?
young, promising quarterbacks. Those are the 3 big ones. I think Travis for the Jets. I believe he was on the way back, but I think he's just on the practice squad now. But yeah, all of them, those 3 major ones, they're on new teams now.
Yeah, we can take a look at the Washington Commanders roster. Desmond Ridder, Zach Wilson at the quarterback position. Obviously, not an upgrade at that quarterback position, but what was the actual deal?
Let me check it out. I believe there was Jaden Daniels went to Seahawks for the first overall pick.
Who ended up being?
They took the cornerback, Cliff Hankins, I think his name, out of Tennessee.
Cliff Hankins. Let's take a look at him. X Factor cornerback Man, he's got some speed. He's got some juice. He's a great man coverage corner. Maybe work on the press a little bit, but 6 foot, $195, and he can pretty much fly with anyone in the league. This guy's going to be a little dangerous, and he's only 21 years old and played just 3 seasons at Tennessee. That was the number 1 pick. So who else was involved in this? Was there
they also had the number 1 pick of the second round, and then the number 27 pick of the second round, and then the first pick of the third round. So just basically a giant collection of assets to have their youth movement. I had a chance to talk to their GM, and basically his idea is that they're not going to be able to compete with the Dallases and the Eagles in their division right now. They just don't have the talent to match up, so they just kind of did a rebuild.
Well, they loaded up. I mean, if you look at Pete Bannon, is he a rookie? Drew Peterson, center, superstar, 21 years old. They definitely added some pieces at this offensive line. Very young offensive line, dangerous offensive line. This could turn into something very elite for this team. And then bring in their quarterback. They'll have protection for him. This might not, Terry might be at the back end of this kind of rebuild quarterback position. But one thing about Washington is they're always going to compete. They actually beat the Eagles this week, 31-28. I don't know if you saw it on the Bleacher Report on Twitter, but last second field goal, Commanders 1-0, Eagles 0-1. Fun fact that I believe this is how the Phillies started last year, and then they went on to win about 15 in a row. So those trying to bash Philadelphia, hold on just a little bit, but props to Washington. That was a big win. As we saw Carolina, another team, got a new, they moved on from Bryce Young. And what did you think about that trade? A lot of people I've talked to said, I don't know how good Bryce Young is. First game with the Jets, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Is he a developable prospect? The arm's not super strong. The accuracies aren't there yet. But is this something the Jets can, you think, build into a franchise quarterback?
Oh, absolutely. I think Bryce got there a little bit late in training camp. I think he actually got there a little bit late in preseason because of all the medical stuff and whatnot. So he was still learning the offense. He did a lot of things well in that game and a lot of poor things. But ultimately they got the W. They'll clean up on that stuff for those turnovers. I can't imagine him having another 5 interception game. So I think the worst is behind them, and it can only get better for them.
Here's a fun stat. If you're playing MBL fantasy football and you have Bryce Young this week, do you want to know how many points you got? You want to take a guess?
Ooh. He's got at least 10, I'd imagine.
Actually, doesn't have any points. Less than 1.
Oh, that can't be right. There must be a glitch with that. I think that's a glitch.
And it says Joe Burrow with 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 0.88 with a higher amount of fantasy points.
Yeah, I think that's
that's got to be something wrong
right there.
Hey, Joe Burrow had a 23 QBR. He had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 4 sacks. Oh, man, the Bengals. Inconsistent play. We've seen them beat the top teams in their division, right? We've seen them look better at times and compete at times, but then there's always this kind of dip to start the season. I hate to say it, but Bengals, that was a winnable game for you, and you just came up a little short there, 35-26, the Jets over the Bengals. Shout out to Cougs. Let's look at Seattle since I believe we have Cougs in here. Yeah, we'll take a look at Seattle. They came after the trade, right? This was a big trade with you. We just talked about this a second ago. We didn't go to Seattle's team, but we'll go to Seattle's team now. Let me find them here at the bottom.
I don't know who I am. But yeah, Seattle got their quarterback for the future, the whole cycle. I can see him getting molded into one of the top guys in the MBL. And fun fact that he's not even picked up on our fantasy.
And they got a couple great mentors in. I mean, you couldn't have a better backup system in this. Russell Wilson comes back to Seattle. He's rocking number 3, of course. Jameis Winston, he's in Seattle as the 3rd quarterback. And Jaden Daniels is the starter. If there was any collective group of guys that would be just entertaining to listen to, it would be those two helping Jaden Daniels become this next future quarterback, franchise quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. What do you think? What do you think about that backup to bring in those kind of older veteran guys?
Yeah, I mean, he had a similar backup in Washington with Geno Smith, so he already knew about the Seattle culture. I'm sure Geno Smith was telling him all about it. So he's walking into a great situation. He's got the mentorship. He's got tons of weapons, if I remember correctly. He's still got DK Metcalf.
Yep.
I believe they have a younger tight end in the realms that is probably going to get some development, and they got a running game with Kenneth Walker. Obviously, they're missing some pieces on defense. They're not like the same elite defense that they were in the Legion of Boom era, but
they
I
brought
think
in
they
Chase
can
Young.
definitely. Yeah, they got Chase Young, so I mean, it's definitely possible.
If you can get
I
some
think
pressure,
I think they can.
It changes so much.
Yeah, I think they're gonna challenge the Cards, the 49ers, and the Rams for the division, just with the addition of the quarterback.
And 3 really good corners, 27 and under. Julian Love, Devon Witherspoon, and Tariq Woolen. Obviously, we know about Woolen. Jerome Baker at the middle linebacker position. He's also a star player for him. He is 28 years old. A good team, building a nice team here. And Chase Young, hopefully he can get you some pressure, because you're going to need that in this game to get yourself back to being that dominating defense. Now, I had something I was going to talk about. Completely forgot here for a second. Give me a second to think here.
I think we wanted to check out those. I think we wanted to check out the Panthers draft capital they got. I believe they got the 11th pick and the 23rd pick for
who they turned those
draft.
into.
I know they got an X Factor linebacker. He's going to add a lot of pass rush. Let me take a check real quick. So for at the 23rd spot, yeah, they basically upgraded their linebacking core. They got an outside pass rusher for each side. They got a young guy in Bo Reed. He's 21. He's been really impressive in training camp. And then they've had Daniel Bronson, who's going to be starting on the left side. He's already been an X factor. He's just dominating the tackles that they have in Carolina and kind of just ruining their practices a little bit. The offense is definitely not getting the nice reps that they want with him messing things up in the backfield.
All right, let's move on. Actually, I got some news across my desk. Here's something you probably didn't know. Wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf, supposedly wasn't too thrilled about Jaden Daniels becoming the quarterback. He wanted a veteran, a proven veteran, pinpoint accuracy kind of guy. They went with the young guy. They're going to develop him, Jaden Daniels. He's going to be a stud. But DK wanted something now. You think that's going to be a problem moving through the season? Is that going to be an issue there?
It could very well be an issue. If they start slow, DK could be really upset. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's 27. So this is a big year. It's certainly possible, but he is out the door. If this rookie quarterback, or I guess not rookie, second-year quarterback, doesn't have success early, he might just not want to resign.
And here's the crazy part. DK Metcalf in the MBL Fantasy Football League, that information must have already been out. I wasn't privy to it, but he dropped deep in the draft. He was either 4th round or picked up on waiver wires at the end. So DK Metcalf, keep an eye on that, man. Let's see if he stays healthy. Let's go through the teams here. Did you want to cover anything else from offseason that or anything else right now?
I think we gotta cover the Anthony Richardson trade.
Oh, let's do it. Oh wait, that's my trade.
So
go ahead. Give your feelings on it.
But man, I got the chance to talk to Anthony Richardson. He's ecstatic to go in the Lions. They got a lot of weapons over there. I think the Colts could have got a little bit more. They just gave up a younger corner, had some flashes. I guess Hooker is going to be the starter out in Indianapolis. I think he had a really good game, actually.
Yeah, and he followed up with a really bad game. Preseason, it was a yin and a yang a little bit. Complete 180. Had a phenomenal game preseason week 2, week 3. Not so much. So maybe you're going to see a little bit of up and down play. They did get Laporta, and they did get Terry and Arnold, former cornerbacks and tight ends, respectively, for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts play the Rams. They're known for blitzing a lot, so it's going to be all about processing. If Hooker can get the ball out quick, get it to Laporta, he's got that safety valve, I think they'll be just fine. Anthony Richardson's debut with the Detroit Lions, almost perfect. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Didn't really use his legs, though, in the pocket. So that's different. In Indianapolis, he was running a little bit more. Hasn't needed to, at least so far in Detroit. we'll see how the rest of the season goes there.
That's something definitely to keep an eye on. Moving forward, you want to get to the teams? You got something else we want to recap? Anybody in the chat have something they want to talk about? We're going to move on to, it's going to be a fun little thing here. We're taking Quibble's instant reaction. What's a winning season for this team look like? How many wins? That quick, easy. He'll say how many wins they would need to get to have a successful season for their franchise. And then he's going to give a little bit of insight, just what comes to his head about the team. And I might chip in as well if we get to a stumbling block here. I know he's probably scrolling through Neon Sports right now, trying to digest all the information from each team. It's going to be tough. We're doing this on the fly, guys. And that's what we're going to try to do here on the 360 podcast, is give you guys a little on-the-fly show. We follow along. We got our eyes glued to the screen, right, throughout the weeks, and now we're putting it kind of on paper here. So we're going to start off just the order of everything on Neon Sports. See the AFC North standings? We're going in that order. Cincy, Cleveland, Baltimore, Pitt. Then we'll go over to the NFC and do the NFC standings the exact same way, and we'll flip back and forth, and we'll finish with the AFC West and finally with the NFC West. Let's dive into this.
All right, so first team is Cincy. You want to name the teams, so I just don't have to pay attention to that part.
I'll set you up for this. The Cincinnati Bengals didn't make the playoffs last season. Let me set you up, man. Cincinnati Bengals, highly talented, high-skilled offense, didn't make the playoffs last season. What's a winning season look like for Cincy, according to Quibble?
Man, I think they got to get at least 9 wins, 9 or 10 wins. They have a roster. They got a quarterback. They got still Jamar Chase. They just got to limit the turnovers. That's a successful season for them.
Probably not a playoff season this season for Cincy is what we're saying on the podcast. 9 wins.
9 can make it. 9 or 10 can win that. 9 or 10 can win that division. I think Baltimore won it last season with 9.
Oh, I didn't think about division winning. That's true.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns, they came off a phenomenal first half against the Detroit Lions, only down, I think, 7 or 8 going into halftime. Once the running game kind of slowed away from Cleveland and you had to get a lot of Deshaun Watson, it just didn't seem like it was clicking the same way it was in the first half. But surprising fact on the game versus the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, 7 for 9 on third downs. They were keeping their drives alive, and they were 2 for 2 on fourth down. So this is a team that's putting themselves in situational football where they can pick up and move the chains. Just got to clean up a few things at the quarterback position. Where do they go? Obviously, second overall pick in the draft here in this previous draft. Where do the Cleveland Browns go this season? What's a winning season look like for them?
I mean, they were the second overall pick for a reason. I mean, they ended up trading it away, I believe. Or maybe they traded a third.
It was third, and they traded back to 9.
So, I mean, I think they had some intel information that they weren't going to be able to get Drew Favorite, the quarterback, that went to Tampa. So they ended up grabbing a middle linebacker. With that being said, I could see them winning 5 to 6 games. That's a successful season. I think it's really going to depend if Trent Barber can get that defense all squared away and just not giving up 42 points, really, because they can stay in games. They just need to shore up some things.
Next on the Baltimore Ravens. This is a team that kind of limped into the playoffs and then just got stronger and stronger and stronger. They ended up meeting the Los Angeles Chargers in the AFC Championship game. Coming from the wild card game, they did have home field advantage during that game. They had a strong showing in the playoffs. What's the win amount you see this season for a successful season for Baltimore? How many games they got to put in that W column?
I mean, off of an AFC Championship, I think they have to try to get 10 or 11. I think anything less than that, they're kind of setting themselves up to potentially maybe lose a division or have to go and be road warriors all over again.
All right, new ownership for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Serp's trying to get this ship right. Pittsburgh, Justin Fields. They got a couple guys on the block right now. Calvin Austin's on the block. But TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, Mika Fitzpatrick, how do you see these Steelers doing this season?
Yeah, they made some interesting trades this offseason. I believe they traded away the number 4 overall pick for some defensive help. I think they got a D tackle and a cornerback. So, I mean, they're looking for depth. They're looking to kind of build out their team. I think it all depends on if Justin Fields performs well. I can see them getting about 7 wins.
Eric, we're going to talk about the Broncos here, second to last. Actually, we're going left to right here. AFC North, NFC North, AFC South, and so forth. West is just at the bottom, but hey, at least you're not dead last. You'll be first in your division, too, when we talk about them. Stay tuned for that. Let's move forward. We'll go to the right side. That's the NFC North. Detroit Lions. How many wins you see for this team? They won the division last season.
Oh, what did they get last season? Like 14 wins, 13 wins? They just missed out on the number 1 seed. 15? And they missed out on the number 1 seed? I mean, I think they got to get 15.
Yeah.
They got to get 15 again. They just got a better quarterback in theory. They've progressed as a team. I think they've understand what the head coach wants to do. If they don't get 15 wins in that first, whatever, actually,
1 seed.
Really, they just want the 1 seed. So I think it's going to take 15, 14 wins to get the 1 seed in the NFC. So that's what they're aiming for.
All right, let's move forward. Green Bay Packers, they came on kind of strong at late, got a win over the Chicago Bears, had a tight one that almost went into overtime versus Detroit Lions. They also had a win over our other division mate, the Minnesota Vikings. So Green Bay finished really strong. Are they going to be dangerous this year, and what do you think their expectations are?
Yeah, I think they won like 8 of their last 10 when the new coach came in. I think they got him really humming. Obviously, it's a new season, but he can definitely get things going. So with that being said, I think they want to be a 10-win team. I feel like you got to win 10 games. He's he's got to make the playoffs. That's what he's aiming for. If they kind of miss that, it's kind of a failure.
Slow start for the Chicago Bears, and a slow start with a slow middle and a slow finish. Well, maybe a little bit of an exciting middle. It seemed like Chicago kind of turned on whatever jets they had towards the middle of the season. Late in the season, seemed like they were playing for next year, developing. This Bears team, a lot of talent, a lot of guys to develop. Where do you see them going?
I see them being a 7-win team this year. Wow. I think the defense is getting a little bit... No playoffs for him. I think Caleb Williams got another year under his belt. He's still going to make some struggles, some boneheaded plays. They're in a tough division. They got the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers. So I'm going to take them getting 4th in the division. I don't have the expectation as high as probably others.
Oh, man. Hey, with 7 getting in, all 4 could make it from the NFC North. If Chicago got it together, we'll find out. We'll see how it plays out.
I don't think 7 wins are making the playoffs.
No, I don't think 7 wins. I got Chicago just a little higher than you, but I could see 7 wins as well. Sadly,
what's your NFC North standings? How do you think it plays out this season?
Well, I'm hoping Detroit wins it. But I can say Minnesota, I think between 12 and 14. Green Bay, because I think maybe Green Bay could split. Green Bay, I have it 11 wins, 10, 11 wins. And Chicago, I could just see them at 9, getting that 7 seed. And, man, that would be pretty classic. And then we all lose we wouldn't be able to lose in the first round. One of us would win. Oh, wait, the Vikings already broke it last year. They went all the way to the NFC Championship. How many games do you have the Vikings winning?
The Vikings, I think they're winning 12 at least.
Yeah, I got them there. I think 12 is a winning season for them.
But you being a Lions,
they won 14 last year. I think they kind of overperformed maybe just a little bit. I still think 12 would be great for this team. Minnesota's on the up and up. Let's move.
They went to the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback.
Oh, yeah. They went all the way to the Super Bowl. Ran through the NFC. Minnesota was insanely deadly, and they were with the Chargers in that first half as well. Minnesota they won 14 games last year. They could win 14 again this year. They could win that division. AFC South, let's take a look at it. Jacksonville, they're up on the docket here. Jacksonville had a tough week 1, and man, they performed though. If you look statistically,
got the W though, right?
No, I think Jacksonville ended up losing. Yeah, they lost 31-28.
I tuned in. I saw they were doing pretty well, but okay. I mean, they're continuing their losing ways. I think they started really strong last season, and they just kind of been in a rut. I think that coach needs to maybe just change just one little thing, just tinker a little bit more, and they'll be back to winning. For a successful season, I think they should be in the playoffs. I feel like they should have made it last year. I think they had some games that they just kind of let slip away. Trevor Lawrence just needs to do a little bit better. They got that new rookie wide receiver. What is his name? Calvin Holiday. I think he's going to have a great season as well. Definitely somebody to look out for on the waiver wire for MBL fantasy.
Holiday had a touchdown, 2 targets, 1 catch, 1 drop, 1 reception. But the reception, 69 yards, touchdown. Explosive Calvin Holiday. Kareem Tiller, rookie 22-year-old halfback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, going to also be a player that I could see break out this season. He's got the speed. He's got the wills to pay the bills. And I could see this team clicking. What do you got them at win-wise?
Oh, win-wise? I have them winning the division. So I would imagine that division's going to win. You win it with 10.
10 wins for Jacksonville. Tennessee Titans on the clock here. It is a team that kept it close early on. I would say the front half of the season was better than the back half of the season, but they're reloaded. They're ready to rock and roll this season. Quarterback position still, you're going to see Will Levis, 26 years old. He's still going to be getting it done. Tony Pollard was the big star last season for them at the running back position. But what do you see this team at? Calvin Ridley, Treylon Burks, Jaquan Jackson?
That's a team that's really about their defense, if I recall correctly. They got a pretty old offense. Will Levis has been kind of hot and cold. Some games he's amazing. Other games he's just all over the place. I think they're in that rebuilding mode. I think they have some close losses early on the season, and then maybe there's a big trade or something that happens, and they kind of prepare for the next season. So I put them at like 5 wins. And I think that's a successful season, too, for them.
Cornerback position, they got L'Jarius Sneed, Awuzie, and then Jamal Adams at the safety position. 28 years old, 30 years old, 29 years old. Definitely need to revamp the secondary with their star younger cornerback being Roger McCreary at the young age of 25 years old. Yeah, this is defense. Their front line, their D-line is very nasty as well. Let's go ahead and move on after the Titans. And you got the Titans winning how many games?
I think 5 is a good season for them.
All right, let's take a look at the Houston Texans. Where do you got them going? And this is C.J. Stroud. He can sling it, but he's got to take care of the ball a little bit more. Right now, as it stands coming into this season, too many interceptions. What can they do to meet their goal, or whatever you see a winning season for Houston being? What do they have to do to accomplish it?
I see they're going to be right around 9-10 wins too, competing for the division. I think it ultimately comes down to that offense. If Stroud and company simplifies it a little bit more, so you're not making these aggressive throws when it's unnecessary. They got the weapons that somebody's going to break free eventually. You got Diggs, you got Dell, you got Nico Collins, you got Joe Mixon at running back, you got a backup with Dameon Pierce at running back. You got Dalton Schultz. Like, you got weapons everywhere on offense. There's no reason you should be turning over the ball like that unless you're just being careless.
All right, guys, we just hit the 30-minute mark. We're going to have to speed up these things. We're just going to name the team and say the wins with just a little comment. Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, they got rid of their quarterback. I would say probably 7 wins.
7 wins. New Orleans Saints, they're in the NFC South. They're currently sitting at 1-0. Big victory for them. We'll shout them out. The New Orleans Saints defeated the New England Patriots 31-14.
They can score with the best of them out there. It's all about not turning over the ball. I can see them getting 6 to 7 wins.
Yeah, Planet corrects me up. Atlanta Falcons. Where do you got the Dirty Birds going? This is a team that
they turned the ball over a lot last season, and they just got rid of Bijan Robinson. He's out in Denver now.
Wait, Penix is my fantasy quarterback. Say something good.
He didn't throw 50 interceptions.
There we go.
But yeah, I think
40-something touchdowns, right?
I think he got like 50 touchdowns and like 37, 38 interceptions or something like that.
Yeah, that's going to have to come down. That's just too much non-punting.
I think it's possible that he wins the division. I think it'll be like a 10 win type of division. I'll say 9 to 10 wins.
All right, Carolina Panthers.
It's all about that rookie quarterback. They got rid of Bryce Young, didn't fit the bill. It kind of looks like they're going to compete and build. They could easily still win 9 or 10 games. That coaching staff does remarkable things. But I think they might struggle a little bit. You have some growing pains early. I'm not sure of what their schedule looks like. So a successful season was probably over 500, so 9 wins. For the average coaching staff, probably like 4 or 5.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where do you got them at?
I haven't really watched much Tampa Bay. Do you know what they finished last year?
Not good. They did have
not good.
I want to say one of the top.
Yeah, they
draft
were
picks.
they were number 2 overall. They got a new quarterback, which is a little bit shocking. Baker, I don't know if Baker's still there or not, but I guess he's never going to get his opportunity to lead a team. I'd say 5 wins if they're starting the rookie, 7 wins if you got Baker.
Yeah, Drew Favorite is the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They do still have Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's starting. He is significantly better at this current time, but you got a 22-year-old quarterback out of Nebraska that you selected that early in the draft. You kind of got to roll with them at some point this season. So if it's Baker, it's going to be Baker for a little bit. All right, now we finished 2 divisions fairly quickly. I'm going to ask Quibble again. I'm going to say the team. Let's not even do a short answer. Let's say how many wins they're going to get because we still got to get through half the league. Buffalo Bills.
All right. Bills, 8.
New York Jets. And this is a team that made a big trade. I know I said I'm not going to do this. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Bryce Young. Was that a good debut or not? Just real quick for me.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a good debut. I think they're getting 13 wins.
13 wins for the Jets. Miami Dolphins.
I think they're getting 11.
Ooh, he's got the Dolphins
still
hanging there. People wonder, after BTF, there is a BTF hangover, and there's a lot of teams that might overperform during building the franchise, following them with the cameras, the bright lights, then they kind of regress. You don't particularly feel that way. 11 wins for Miami. I'm loving it. New England Patriots, they're 0-1 right now, lost to the Saints. Where do you got them going?
That's a tough roster. They got a good rookie wide receiver. I still think it's going to be like 4 wins, though.
And here's something to calm you down about DK Metcalf. The first touchdown thrown this season was Seattle. Jaden Daniels, who do you think he threw to?
Ooh.
It's DK Metcalf. You got to
DK
keep the
Metcalf?
superstar happy. And he knows where his bread is going to be buttered, so he keeps that superstar happy. Let's move on. Washington Commanders, big win over Philadelphia. Where do you got them going?
I think they got to get 7 or 8 wins, or they're just going to get
All right,
reamed
we're
for
bumping
that
that
trade.
up. That's got to be at least. Wow,
I think they won 10. They won 10 last year with Jaden Daniels. Now they went down with a quarterback, probably 7-8.
Man, I don't know. They might be that miracle team. Big win over Philly, grind it out. Bend don't break defense. You could see something from them. Philly, what do we got them at?
Philly, I think they take a small step back. I think they only get 14 wins this year.
Yeah, not a step, really nothing. Maybe a little bit of
They're geared for
position.
playoffs. I think they're already
Dallas
ready for
Cowboys.
playoffs.
They made the playoffs last year. Ended up getting that wild card after that insane hot start. And they were kind of like the Ravens in a little sense where they didn't go into the playoffs playing their best football, but man, they forced fumbles on the Detroit Lions. They played a phenomenal game on offense. Defensively, they were on their P's and Q's, and they came ready to play. I like what Dallas did in the playoffs. Big time fight out of them. Where do you see them going this regular season?
Yeah, they're the new PTF team. I think they get another 10 wins.
10 wins on building the franchise, Dallas Cowboys. We'll have a week 2 game for you. Don't worry. We'll post it in the chat as well. New York Football Giants.
Man, that's just a team of so much mystery. It's an endless shuffle of quarterbacks. I don't believe Trey Lance. I think he lost his job again.
And then wild competitiveness, right? Just almost dominant sometimes. Then steps back. It's very weird.
Yeah. I think they came in 4th in the division last season. I think they move up to 3rd. I think they get 9 wins again.
9 wins for the New York Football Giants. The Denver Broncos, they look strong today. 3-point victory over who you believe Jacksonville is going to win 10 games. So Denver, 1-0 right now, 31-28. Where do you got Denver going? They won 2nd place in the division, as any team in the MBL would have in the AFC West.
Yeah, I kind of watched a little of their games last year. I saw their playoff run. I think that they're probably going to progress a little bit more. I think 11 wins is going to be where they're going to be at. They still have 2 amazing teams in their division, so I think they're going to split at least there, so they're going to lose some there.
Absolutely agree. All right, let's move forward. After the Denver Broncos, we're talking Las Vegas Raiders. It has been not so good so far. Any bounce back this season?
I don't think they have the bounce back this season. I say 6-7 wins.
You can say 4.
No,
it's
I think
a tough
6 or 7.
division.
It's a tough division, but I think iron sharpens iron. They play tough in their division, and then everything else will seem easier.
Yeah, but these teams are molten lava.
We'll look back.
They're gonna melt that team. All right, let's move forward. He doesn't want to admit it yet. Los Angeles Chargers. How many wins for this team? They didn't even lose last year.
Oh, they're going undefeated again.
17-0, back-to-backs, never been done.
No, on a serious note, they probably lose 1 or 2 games. I think they'll expand the playbook, have a little bit more fun with it since they got the monkey off their back, and just
Get a
kind
little
of
loose and see if you can add a couple little gadgets going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're just kind of using the regular season for practice. I feel until the playoff time.
Yeah, it might be dynasty talk there in the Chargers. They win another one, dominating convincingly like they did this. Kansas City Chiefs, they had a one and done playoff. I thought they were going to go a lot further. I expected more. That was a tough loss from them. I believe the Baltimore Ravens knocked them off. I know they're still bitter about it.
I think they got 12 wins probably. Is a successful season. Obviously, if they could sneak a win this time versus the Chargers, they can maybe even win the division. I think they got swept last year, and they definitely regret that. I think they had one game, but Herbert threw like 3 or 4 picks.
So many close games. They were the first team to kind of break Herbert into a bad performance, and he only had one that whole season, and that was the one versus Kansas City Chiefs. NFC West, San Francisco 49ers.
Man, they are such an interesting team to watch. They win a lot, and they lose a lot, one-score games. I think you got another year of Purdy. I think 9 or 10 wins is what they're aiming for this year.
Eric G's asking about the Denver Broncos. What do we have them going?
I had them going winning 11 games.
11 games, probably 2 in the division. Denver coming off a big victory against Jacksonville, who Quibble predicted to have 10 wins, 31-28, 3-point victory today. Let's move on. Los Angeles Rams. They've done a lot of in-house kind of switching of direction as far as their roster goes. Not happy with the quarterback play last season. Where do you see the Rams going this season?
I could see them still winning 6 or 7 games. I think their defense, they like to add a lot of pressure. In this season, pressure seems to be helping defenses a little bit, make those quick mistakes. Matthew Stafford's still back there. I think Joe Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton.
They're going to be their starter.
So what do you think? Who's starting?
He didn't. I think he's going to start Milton, but I think he should really stick with Stafford.
Yeah. So me and you are both the same. Stafford needs to start on this team. I understand why they bring in Joe Milton. Arm talent, maybe can run the similar offense as Stafford's running for you, right? 25 years old, and he's got an absolute cannon.
So what I'm thinking, the reason they brought in Joe Milton is kind of just make that extra defender in the box have to worry about the quarterback running, because they brought in Breece Hall, superstar, amazing running back. You're going to get 8-man boxes with him back there. Having that option of like your quarterback scrambling read option just makes the game a lot easier.
Absolutely. So how many wins we got the Rams going?
I think they're going to get 6 or 7. They're still kind of building a little bit. I think they have one of the tougher schedules from the NFC West.
Let's move on to Seattle. They got their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, from the Washington Commanders. They gave up a lot of draft capital, and I mean a lot of draft capital. But his first touchdown went to DK Metcalf.
Yeah, anytime you give up that much capital for a quarterback, especially if it's not a rookie, it's somebody that's already been in the league and had some success, you're expecting immediate results. I can't imagine them being happy with anything less than 10 or 11 wins, and kind of fighting for the division. Everything is set for them on offense, so it's just really coming down to defense.
Bounce back season for Seattle. 10-11 wins. You heard it here. Last one on the docket, Arizona Cardinals. I love this guy. I love the owner. Very good, positive. Tell me something positive about Arizona.
I think they will be sneaky. I think they're going to catch a lot of teams off guard again. Very sneaky. They got a really good guy. They got a really good defensive lineman. He's going to be a superstar in this league, Nathan Davenport. He dropped out the top 5 for some reason. Talking to GMs around the league, he was one of the top 5 talents. They offensively can score the best of them. I think they probably can fight for 2nd or 3rd in the division, just on that hairy edge of getting that last wild card spot.
All right, let's move forward. We're going to go on to the after show. First person to post a topic in here, maybe first 2 people, we'll discuss it real briefly, and then we're out of here.
Do we think the NFC team will ever win the MBL? It's been what, 7?
Hey, this is for the people in the. They're not supposed to say nothing, and then we just go off air.
Oh no, I'm talking about Coos. Coos asked the question.
Oh, you did?
I'm responding to it. Yeah.
Oh,
Coos wants to know: do we think an NFC team will ever win the MBL? again.
Oh.
Been like 7 straight now.
Man. Oh, man. I'll say by season 3, by MBL season 59. At the end of 59. 59, if not 58, 59.
I think by the end of the cycle, they will. I think it's going to be one of the later ones, though.
Into the 60s. That means the whole 50s would have been dominated by AFC.
I mean,
That's tough to deal with.
Just sometimes the way it goes.
Is Purdy worth 6 years, $313 million? Because he's going to get it. And this is coming from an avid Niners fan who knows this team's about to pay this quarterback. Is he worth 313?
What is that, like $50 million a year? A little over 50?
A little over 50.
Given that roster
actually,
and what you have going there, I think he's worth it.
Actually, that's not too bad. 50 don't sound like it used to sound. 70s where you get into trouble. 65.
Yeah, I think Devontae Adams is making 50 as a wide receiver.
Wow.
So,
all right, guys, that's going to do it for the show. Purdy's definitely worth 6 years, $313 million. Co-sign that. We both stamped that. For myself and Quibble, we'll see you next time here on the MBL 360 podcast on Twitch. You guys have a good day.